Okay, so this lecture is about creating a stem and leaf plot when we have one quantitative variable. So I'm going to use the billiard data set that's available in the sample data folder of Minitab. This data set gives you the elasticity of 30 billiard balls that are from different batches and using different additives. The elasticity itself is measured on a scale from 0 to 100. I'm not sure what the unit is after that, but higher numbers represent greater elasticity. Okay, so we are going to describe the elasticity of billiard balls using a stem and leaf. And so I have the dialog box here, but let me go ahead and open up our data set. So once again, File, Open Worksheet, look in the sample data folder. If we start typing it in, we can get it. Okay, so that's our data set. This is the variable that we wish to describe. Okay, so to do that, we can go up to Graph, Stem and Leaf, and we get this very simple dialog box. All you need to do is put the quantitative variable here, and so we're going to put in elastic. We don't need a bivariable, we're not worried about outliers, and we're not worried about the increment. There are no dialog boxes, so the only thing left to say is OK. Now notice one thing, that this graph does not open into a window. It is an old-fashioned type of plot that Minitab uses. And so I'm going to just copy and paste it into my Word document here and talk about it a little bit. We certainly have to put a better title on this, so this is the elasticity of billiard balls. And I might tell you that there's a sample size of 30 here. It actually tells you that it's 30 down here. Okay. Minitab always uses a capital N, even though we should be using a lowercase n. Okay. This tells me that I have one billiard ball that has an elasticity of 34. So if we're thinking about the stem and leaf piece of this, this would be, actually let me put a shape in here for us. You don't have to do this. I am just doing it to highlight it for you. And I am going to make it a little darker so you can see it. Okay. So we've got one ball that's 34, one ball that's 37, one ball that's 39, and so what I want to point out is that there are 30 leaves corresponding to the 30 billiard balls in this data set. But it's really hard to figure out what the stem means and what the leaf means. And so for stem and leaf, you really should put a key on your graph. And so my key is that 3/ I'll pick the 7. 3/7 equals 37. Okay. You can kind of see that because it tells you up here that the leaf unit equals 1. Minitab is a little bit archaic in that doesn't stand out as well. Typically what you see is the key. So we're only going to play with stem and leaves a little bit. In fact, this is the only project you'll see it in. I don't think Minitab is presenting a very good graphic here. You may ask, what are these numbers in the first column? And once again, this is where Minitab does some strange things. So it starts by saying, okay, let me start at the top and tell you that there is one ball on this branch. There are 2 more balls, so if I add it to 1, I get 3. If I add these 6 values, I get 9. If I add these 2 values, I get 11. If I add these 4 values, I get 15. And then notice this is 15 even though it's 2. Because when it gets to the median value, it starts counting from the bottom. 2 balls, plus another one is 3, plus 2 more here is 5, plus 3 more 8, plus 3 more 11, plus 2 more 13, plus 2 more 15. So the median value is going to be right in the middle between those 2 values. Most stem and leaves do not include this column. I'm not quite sure why Minitab does that for us. Okay. I will also tell you that Minitab is not a very good producer of stem and leaf graphs when the number of data values are large. and that's because it tends to run off the edge of the page. It's limited by the 80 characters of lines. I'll show you that one in class, but for the basics, what you need to do is just put your graph variable in, change the title, add a key. You do not need to add the line. I'm just doing that for demonstration purposes. Okay? You don't need to take off these values. We're all good. Okay? So that's your how you create a stem and leaf using Minitab.